All right, hello and welcome back to the channel today. We are looking at some things about the new, the trailer and the TV spot for Superman. The TV spot for Superman is the thing. Um, uh, Outcry online, all this stuff, all this arguing, going back and forth, and all. There's criticism. There's illegitimate criticism. There's criticism that is legitimate. Um, and there's criticism that's legitimate and wrongly answered, I guess is the best thing to say about that. Um, but in any case, whatever the thing is going on, whatever your position on it, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to kind of just look at um, the basics of it. So um, let me go ahead and go over to the TV spot. So I'm on the YouTube, but this is the DC's channel. I don't know why it's highlighting everything. So DC official channel, the TV spot is right here, and let's go ahead and look at it. We'll open it up, and let me slow it down to this 2/4 speed. All right, TV spot. So we've seen the shot basically, and we'll look at a slight difference in it. And we see him. He's making some movement, and then he does his whistle. See the whistle. Um, and of course, James Gunn. Uh, the TV spot is called Icon. I don't have that entirely on the screen. And we get the new shot of the plane here, and Lex Luthor exiting. Back in the background, you see that shot with Ultraman or whoever it is. It's got the guy in the black that's got the U on the chest. Um, I'm making assumptions. And in that same shot, in the theatrical version of the trailer, you also see, I've forgotten the name. Um, the name of that other character. But anyway, we've seen almost all of these shots. That looks, I think that was a slightly more on the feet shot. At least it appeared to me that it was uh, more than in the trailer. Just for a split second. See it a little bit better when you slow down. And then this part is more. He spins and then comes into frame here. And the criticism has been about the face, in the spin. There's something people pause on. We're gonna go back to this area, and I am gonna pause it. And it took a while. Uh, the spin happens very quickly. So I want you to notice just here. Uh, I'm not criticizing any of these little things here. Um, like some people might, because whenever you do a fast shot or whatever and you pause it, you have distortions of the blur of this arm or whatever, and an elongation of maybe another part or something, the face turning. That's nothing, in and it's in everything. You can always find shots which don't look good, so that's not anything to criticize, I would say. Um, and he continues to spin and comes out of the spin. And some people have criticized his face, and some people have noticed at a certain moment that his eyes, this eye is open more. This eye. And now this is backwards on my recording of it. So if you imagine it flipped, then you'll see it right, because you can see the S is backwards on my recording, but in the actual trailer it's correct. But this eye is closed slightly more, so his eyes open, so his eyes maybe look a little cockeyed. Maybe he's looking past the camera, so his eyes are not, focused in like you might see somebody's face. So, uh, but some things were pointed out to me. I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with it. It does maybe look a little odd. There's been reasons that have been given for it. This did not draw my attention, things like that. But before I get into what did draw my attention, go back to the beginning here. Now, somebody's mentioned in another video, and I think starts with a CS, and he's being critical of the thing, and saying that the movie's going to fail and all that. I'm not getting into any of that stuff, but he did say that James Gunn and company had to take out blood. Now, if you watched my video on the trailer, you see him laying here beat up in the snow. My problem with it is it doesn't look like he's that beat up to me, because the suit is essentially in immaculate condition. There's no tears on the legs or the chest or the stomach or the arms, and they could easily CGI in tears to the costume, tears to the boots or whatever, to show that he's been beaten badly, by something. You don't have to rely on the little bit of bruising and blood on the face, and we'll go over to the trailer real quick and see the rest of that there. Scrolling down. It's a ways back from there. So this is the trailer version. We're going to skip to that zooming in shot. I'm trying to tell from this. So like I said, the statement that was made basically was the blood was CGI'd out of the shot. So we're going to have to skip a little past this part and get to where he's laying there in the snow a little bit. So I'm not going through the whole trailer. Again, I think that the suit should be torn. It would look right. So there's the blood underneath his mouth. All right, and coming out of his mouth, the cut in his lip, and this bruise may be bruising a little bit, but these little pieces, they're all in the trailer. But he spits a little blood out. All right, and then they cut to a close up of his face before doing the whistle, and of course, they jump from this. You can see it's just into black, and it has to go through this little cutscene. Now, this is all about how they're cutting the trailer there. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to do it. Okay, yeah, that's right. I've kind of put this trailer back in the back of my mind, so it's not yet making me excited for the movie. I'm not, But anyway, there's the blood, there's the whistle. So me and my critical mind, and I can see it in the trailer spot, it it doesn't have the cut to his close up, and it goes straight from him spitting out blood to doing the whistle, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with any of that. So anyway, the statement again is made that the blood was cut out. They had to cut out and not dumb down. They had the theory or the criticism being made, which this isn't probably an illegitimate criticism, because I'm going to give you the most likely reason of this. This trailer comes out and shows Superman in this condition with the blood coming out of his mouth. He spits blood onto the snow, and then in a moment here, then he whistles for Krypto. All good, fine. Going back to the trailer spot, the reason, or not trailer spot, the icon TV spot is what it calls it. So he's doing this. They took out blood, CGI'd it out. But if you pay attention closely, you'll have to do this on your own to get the sound of it. He spits blood right there. Okay. But it's not showing because they took it out. And then he goes right to whistling. It's a TV spot. So they edited it, obviously, but probably for rating sensors to say, okay, this is going on TV. You can't show him spitting up blood. Somebody, executive at Warner Brothers, somebody censoring the TV spot and saying, okay, you can't show this or you can't show that in the TV spot. Specifically blood there. That's probably almost 100% for sure the reason for that. So, that being said, and getting back to this moment, my issues with this is all good. The flip to the front is a little bit, well, it's a direct cut, but then he's still spinning around, and I'm going to play it at normal speed here in just a second, but notice what this, you see his leg, you see his chest in this shot with his, just notice the look of it right there. All right, his arms are back, his chest is where it is, the leg is there. I don't dislike it. It looks fine. I'm going to look past what I don't like about the suit. I don't dislike the colors and, stuff like that. I did watch one video from our movie news where he changed the color grading and it pops a little more, has a little better contrast, and I think that does look pretty cool. It's less gray in the background, a little more, I would say bluish, to the ice, which looks pretty neat. And that may be just a color grading choice. But anyway, you got that there? And he spins around. I think it spins around too fast. He spins too fast, I think. That's one thing, but it's not a huge thing. Nothing huge about that. There he is, forward, and I don't think there's any valid criticisms and some other things. He is fairly expressionless, so there's been some statements about that. Valid enough. It's also 1-2 seconds in this position. But as you're looking at it, do you notice any? This the thing I notice. I don't hear other people saying anything about, and it stands out to me greatly. And I just think it's obvious when you're looking at it, from this position. Once he comes around, this is less of a problem right here. And it just becomes slightly more of a problem. But it is the only time I've ever seen this. And any, I went and checked other shots, and it might be kind of close to when Adam Warlock was flying to try to save his mother, and you see just for a second he's almost in this same position. Okay, My issue is this weird bulge here. It is, please look at every other one: Black Adam, Man of Steel, other Superman shots. I don't think it's just because the camera here. This is unusual. This is not showing, chest muscle area, which it should be. This is, I've called it Dad Bod Superman. It's a bulge down this direction. I'm not talking about anything weird. I'm saying it either looks like his belly's protruding or his chest is. It's not the form of a normal human chest. And I think they're trying to show off the S or something like that, and they made it look like this. I don't think it looks right. That's what stands out to me. That is my main criticism of that shot. It looks weird to have this roundish protrusion. And I say that coming from this shot right there. And then he comes into this frame. And that's what stood out to me at the very beginning. I drew my attention away from his face, so I don't really have any great criticisms or any criticism really of the face. But again, that shot right, this looks good. And if his legs were doing that in the upright position, that would look neat to me still. Or if his legs, moved out of the shot, that would be fine too. All of this looks pretty neat. That right there is fine. But then turns into this weird attempt to show off the shield. I'm not talking about anything that you can't really see. This is simply this curvature does not exist in anything else. You've probably seen other videos where they cut them, intermix them, and put them together. This right here is strange. If anybody could show me where some other video has done this, I would be glad to look at it, and I will say, nope, I was wrong. That doesn't look weird. It just simply should be a different curve, just like it was when he was turning over right there. Something to this effect, and this looks neat. I'm not talking about the face and all that stuff. I'm talking about just the bodily form. All right, and it's the same camera, so it's not like you can claim something else is different, except for his position of his legs and back is somewhat changed. So somebody can try to explain it to me, but show me some kind of video where that is the same way again at this shot. And personally, I would slow down the curve, the turn at the end, because he goes into the turn, you know, at a slower rate, back here. And then it speeds up. I get it speeding up. It's still okay. It's still fine as far as what he's doing. It looks neat. Um, so that's not necessarily the problem. But let's go to normal speed and just, to me, slowing that turnaround where, he comes into it, the straight ahead position a little shorter. See, even I assume that's an AI picture. They have done that differently. So anyway, um, that to me looks strange. And back off of this. That's what stood out to me about that. The reason why the blood is taken out is, I think, censorship, just to be available for all audiences. But it did show me that they cut that moment where he spit out the blood and then cut to a close up in the trailer, and then, of course, went to other stuff and came back to right after he had spit the blood in the TV spot to whistle. So there's something in there as far as editing. The shots could be quite a bit different. I think there's plenty of time for him to see what I see in the first part of this, that Superman being beat up and having bruises should have damage to his costume. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Superman's got a bunch of costumes, okay? If his mother made it for him, there's more than one copy of it, okay? There's plenty of them. I remember the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark. Uh, it's a bomb stain, and he's trying to clean a stain out of his suit. And you go to a closet, and he's got several super suits, Superman suits. And they went through some issues trying to get their suit correct and all that. Yeah. But anyway, that's a video for another time. Yes, blood is gone. It was simply done probably because it's a TV spot. That's perfectly fine. All this other stuff is okay. It's a cool shot. I still think they need to stop pushing that girl's head down. It just continues moving downward. I think you're snapping that little girl's neck. It it stands out to me. I think somebody said that in this shot here, if you zoom in and you'll see Supergirl in the reflection of the head up here. I don't know how to zoom in like that and stuff. So I apologize if I failed you for all of that. But if that's true, that's pretty cool. So I think I just saw a blurb of that. But as much as I don't care for the certain parts of the costume, I understand the the burns here, sort of anyway, at least from what we've seen, and I understand the darkness and different angles of light, or because this char is on the suit. So when he's sitting down, I understand why it looks darker. It's you know, I'm not gonna theorize a bunch of weird stuff. Um, but like I said, if he's beat up, I think some tears in the suit would do just fine. That's obviously not that particular part of that scene and stuff. Wow, whole bunch of videos on this stuff. But anyway, you can go down the rabbit hole, or you can view different points of view. Uh, People don't need to be really mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just like, that's not a good choice for a look right there. That just doesn't look good. So I think they should rethink it. Go back and look at the shot. It's probably CGI there at that place, or on the body, um, in some way, and just make some tweaks and adjustments. Like I said, when he's flipping over, it doesn't look like that. It's only when he's straight on, upright. Why it doesn't look right? You want to see? Let's see, Black Adam, flight, Black Adam. Let's say flight scene. I think this is gonna show me what I'm looking for. Not that, not that, not that. Oh, come on. Um, Flight fight. See if we can get this here. It came up real quick the other day when I looked for it. How about this? Flight chase. There we go. I think this is it. It's actually the same angles. So that's not really what I'm getting at. So, bear with me just one moment there. There we go. But if you can show me something where it looks like the Superman, I'll be glad to take it back and say, okay, it's just the camera, and it's a weird thing the camera does to his body. But I don't think so. I think it just doesn't look that good, and it makes it again dad bod Superman. If that's what you're going for, go for it. All right, go for it. That's fine. It's your choice. It's your movie. All that. But anyway, in the meanwhile, while we're waiting for the next thing to come out, probably at the Super Bowl, and a big full trailer or whatever is going to be released next, we can all get ready to argue about all the little things in that. I just want to point out what I see and say, you could change this pretty quick. I think that could be changed really fast, especially the torn Superman suit would make perfect sense and should, I think, be added to that scene. Um, and then let Crypto take him back, and maybe Crypto knows how to sew or something like that. I don't care. Or maybe Supergirl sitting there in the fortress just sewing the suits together, and gives them a new one. Whatever the case is, uh, I'll leave that up to future things, and I'll watch the movie when I get to see it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what it comes out to be. Um, in the meanwhile, I wish people would stop making excuses and bad criticisms and stuff like that and just looking for every little problem. I look at it now, listen to me. It sounds nitpicky when I talk about it sometimes because of the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it critically to say, okay, you could improve this. I'd like to be on the crew to say, that looks strange, doesn't it? I mean, is that really what the way it should be? Shouldn't this be this way? Don't you think that this maybe would be a good moment here or there? That's what I'm trying to do as far as these little things. If I sound too critical, I apologize. Hope I don't sound too critical. Um, I, I don't really have much confidence in this being the thing it needs to be to make the difference in the viewership. Okay, and that means the fans, the way they're reacting to the movie. If it keeps being the way that it is, it's going to turn out just being a dividing thing. If the statements and the behind the scenes stuff keep coming out the way they're coming out, it's just going to be a division issue. Um, there's some decisions they need to make pretty quick and pretty clearly and definitively uh, to turn some things around. But again, the way that they're doing, it's just causing division and creating problems. But this is what they choose to put out there. All right, the creator James Gunn himself, the DC uh, people, whoever is approving it, they make the decision to do that. We're going to talk about it because we're either super fans or fake fans or partial fans or biased fans or whatever, but we're still fans and we're still talking about it. People are going to be looking at that over and over and over again, making comments and stuff like that. Um, I hope you can have fun making comments and videos and things like that. I think most of us are. Uh, but anyway, and I don't think what my criticism is necessarily needs to be attempted at a defense. If you can, like I said, if you can show me a video of that kind of perspective shift because of the camera lens, please explain it. You want to get into a technical, detailed video of how it is, do that. I'll be happy to listen to the technical explanation, and if somebody's got it right, I'll say, okay, that sounds good, and I understand that is what it would do. Whether or not I still think it looks okay is a different question because you know it looks weird to me. you look at it again a couple times, maybe with some fresh eyes, and see whether or not it looks weird to you. All right, but let me know in the comments. Let me know if you got a video. You can link it to it and tell me how all these camera lenses work and why this is different than any other shot that's ever uh, come before it. Um, you know, that'd be great. I saw one video; it was really good. You just have to look at like flight comparisons or something. But that's what it was. It was showing just a whole bunch of different superhero flight things. So that Black Adam was in there, Man of Steel, a couple different Man of Steel ones, and Adam Warlock, and just several, just different things. The older Superman things. It might be Superman flying, and you can kind of tell it's a compilation of something like that. It wasn't doing a comparison to this, I don't think, unless it was the last thing that they put in there. I just can't remember that. It wasn't about criticism. It was just a lot of different shots of flying, which was pretty neat. So I'd recommend you try to find that on YouTube and or Rumble, and you know go from there. Uh, Maybe with your thoughts on different things like that. But let me know what you think again, and I will be back another day to comment about something else. I just had to do this. And, I was waiting for something to upload, and remembered somebody mentioned that and had to compare the two videos. And said, okay, yeah, and maybe this is the reason why. So let's not be too critical when there's obvious reasons why something might be being done. And when we do get to the end, somebody commented on this. I won't credit him for it, but he did say something like basically, the movie's going to be cut differently than these trailers are. We haven't seen really what's going to go on. Now, some of the shots may or may not even be in the movie, because we get that all the time where we don't even see these shots. They might just cut that out entirely. Um, that's possible. Maybe he does something different with it. I don't know. Um, I don't know yet, but we'll see it when we see the movie. Uh, and try to sharpen your focus in your eyes, and and your when you watch any of this stuff, to see those little things like the different way of cutting when he's again spitting out the blood and then he's whistling for crypto. You should be able to notice little things like that, and so forth. Um, you know. And if I could encourage you in anything, I want to encourage you not to be critical about things you don't get. I don't understand them at all. I've heard too much of that. Somebody sitting there mentioning this, that, or the other thing that they didn't like about something like maybe. Well, don't want to get into particulars, but if you don't understand where a thing in a movie comes from at all, especially like comic book movies, it may be that you just don't know the comic books well enough to know why the little possible Easter egg is in there and stuff like that. So, don't be too harsh in your criticisms. I've heard too many people that are doing that are, it's like, well, that should be there. That really, somebody, I will give one for instance. Somebody said in the Zack Snyder Justice League didn't understand why the black suit was there, and apparently didn't understand why the black suit exists in the comic books. Uh, it just kind of threw it in there. Didn't understand it in the movie. Didn't understand the choice for it, and so didn't necessarily like it himself, but didn't really care. But it was that tinge of criticism that's like, you're not looking at it quite right, But we'll leave it as that, and you can talk about other things along the same lines. People want to go, uh, and you know, I'm talking about that for all kinds of criticisms, all kinds of videos, movies, TV shows, and stuff like that. Be careful about being um, hyper critical in negative ways about stuff you don't understand at all. That's what I mean. Uh, if you understand it and you don't like it, that's fine. Go ahead. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Piece of advice for some of you out there. Maybe you won't even see this video, probably not. But everybody does see it. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you have a good time. And we'll see you again next video.